Our topic today is writing across the curriculum. Writing should not be limited only to language arts time. Children learn to read by reading, and they learn to write by writing. So we need to provide our students with opportunities to write in all content areas, even math. Writing is a way of learning as well as a method of communication, although some types of writing are better than others for learning. Different kinds of writing help students to think in different kinds of ways. Writing that involves comparing, contrasting, concluding, and evaluating has a greater impact than writing that only requires restating. Some content area writing activities can help clarify complex topics. For example, writing critical reports on famous people or events, or taking on the role of the famous person. Interpreting the results of a science experiment conducted in class. Or writing an essay on social studies or a science topic. For example, what does the Bill of Rights mean to me? Or, what can I do to clean up the earth? To help students break the habit of simply retelling information in their writing, they could conduct first-hand investigations and report the results. For example, they could summarize and interpret the results of a classroom poll. Or they could interview an older family member about their life growing up. Or they could make observations about a natural phenomenon such as changes in a plant that's being grown from a seed. Another type of writing activity that can be used in any content area is having students explain a process to someone who has no knowledge of it. These could include finding the area of a parallelogram, explaining how a president is elected, or how to drive from your house to school. Other types of writing to learn activities might include the following. Students could write letters to request information about a specific topic. They could write a script to dramatize the period in history that you're currently studying. They could write an editorial about a social issue. They could write captions for photos or scientific experiments. Or they could write a children's book on an interesting science or social studies topic. The use of journals is another way to incorporate writing into the content areas. Journals provide students with the opportunities to record personal reactions to their reading. They also can be used as a diagnostic tool for you, as you can tell to what degree they have mastered the material by their journal responses. I'd like to share with you a very simple type of written response that you can use to help gauge the level of understanding of your students, the Content Journal Exit Slip. This is an easy form you can create and also make multiple copies of to always have on hand, on which your students can write down what they learned after a specific lesson. It can look like this, although there is no specific template. You can make it fit your class and style and needs. Let me give you an example of how it might be used. Let's say you just finished a science lesson on photosynthesis in your 5th grade class. Right after your lesson, but before your students can go to recess or lunch or even home for the day, they have to give you an exit slip, upon which they have written down what they've learned about photosynthesis. Or you might be more specific and ask them to describe the process of photosynthesis in a celery plant. After a lesson on community helpers in a primary grade, students might be asked to write down 3 community helpers. Or a 3rd grade class might be asked to write about plants found in one of the 4 deserts of North America. The length of the responses is obviously dependent upon the age and ability levels of your students. After looking at these exit slips, you can get an instant assessment of the effectiveness of your lesson. If the majority of the class was able to write the correct answers, you know you succeeded. However, if very few were correct, you know you need to reteach the information tomorrow. The major advantage to using learning logs is that they provide students with opportunities to reflect on their learning and to raise questions about concepts that puzzle them or are of some concern. When you get used to using them, I think you will find that they are an excellent way to incorporate writing across the curriculum.